Hello guys, welcome back once again to my channel where we discuss about immigration. That is especially when it has to do with Nigerians who have traveled abroad and what is happening or going on with them. So over the weekend we saw a video of this pastor here, Pastor Tobi Adegboyega, who is a billionaire pastor in the UK. You know, I reported about him last time. In fact, I've reported about him twice now. And he has come out to refute claims about his deportation because the UK court issued an order that he is to be deported. Because first of all, when he came to the country, his visa expired and he continued to stay. And from there, he started looking for a way to legalize himself into the system. Somehow he was able to stay. But because of the way he flaunts himself, his lifestyle, a lot of things have changed. And the UK government said that he mismanaged about 1 something million pounds. That also his church is a kind of cult. But now he has come out to say that the dogs will bark, and after barking, they go back to their... In fact, it's a very serious issue. Let me quickly play you a video that he made, plus other subsequent videos about his report. And I'm also going to be talking about why Nigerian boy born Adegboyega's deportation was approved, UK judges, because they have spoken up about this. So, in this contest, I don't even know who to believe. Do I believe the UK government that approved his deportation, or him that have said that he is undeportable? I don't know whether that English is correct, but take it like that. That he cannot be deported. But that means that he has his connections. Let's see how it goes, Sha. So let's start with that very video before I play you others that we also have in our gallery. So this is what he said. When all the dogs are done barking, they go back into their cage. Pastor Tobi defiantly says to his critics. You see? So...
Good morning, Pastor.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. It's been a beautiful day in London City. And guess what? We're just winning on every side. And I hope that you will join us on this winning spirit. I need everybody to relax. Nothing but winning in this season. And like I said, when all the dogs are done barking, they'll go back into their cages. And they will see that we have power, grace, people, and God in this town. Come, let's go to service now.
So that's Pastor Tobi Adegboyega, and I'm going to be playing you some of his other videos where he has, where further revelations were made about him. But first of all, let's quickly take a look at why the judges approved his deportation. Let's do that very fast before time. Now, new details have emerged on why the United Kingdom Immigration Upper Tribunal approved the deportation of Pastor Tobi Adegboyega, founder of Salvation Proclaimers Anointed Church, commonly known as Spark Nation. The 44-year-old pastor, who arrived in the UK on a visitor's visa in 2005, but did not leave when it expired, had sought to remain in the European country on human rights grounds. He had married a British citizen. So that's the reason why he doesn't want to leave. And I believe that is one of the backbones of his stay there. Now, according to him, before I proceed here, he said, Pastor Adegboyega explains lavish lifestyle is funded by wife's salary. I live with my partner, Mary, who earns £100,000 per year. I spent my time working for the church, for which I am unpaid, said Adegboyega. I am entirely supported by Mary. Now, he claims that he's completely or wholly supported by the wife, and that is where he gets the money to buy all these Lamborghinis, all these, fashion designers, all these huge, expensive lifestyle that he flaunts on social media. But I'm not sure that £100,000 can equate the expenses that he shows off on social media. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong, Sha, but you can also help me in the comments. Thank you. Now, after the Home Office denied his request, he appealed to the first tier tribunal, which equally turned him down. So 2 places have turned him down now. Subsequently, he appealed to the upper tribunal on August 15th, 2022. Let's see if he was approved in this case. Now, they said that the controversial pastor, through his lawyer, Dele Olawanle, told the tribunal that his church had initiated various intervention programs to rescue troubled youth on the streets of the UK from gangs and crime. So he claims now that his church is the savior of the youth. His church has, removed knives from the hands of so many gang and so many criminal groups in the country, more than the police or the authorities combined together. Adegboyega also argued that his deportation would harm his project and community influence, which he claimed had been supported and recognized by prominent UK figures, including former Prime Minister Boris Johnson and senior figures within the Metropolitan Police. He also claimed that he had played an instrumental role in setting up a food bank which had provided 136,000 meals for children, adding that he intervened in the lives of many hundreds of young people, predominantly from the black communities in London, to lead them away from trouble. So these are the claims that he is putting on the table to counter his deportation order from the UK government. So I don't know whether these claims that he has made now would deter the government from, going ahead with the deportation, which the court has already ruled and approved. Adegboyega added that he established a network of safe houses throughout London where he accommodated young people trying to avoid gang conflicts. But the upper tribunal judges, Bruce and Rastogi, insisted that Adegboyega must return to his Nigerian country despite his argument. These judges did not agree with him. They said that whether you are the savior, whether you are the Jesus of UK, that is in your pocket. You have nothing to do with us, or they have nothing to do with this country. You must be deported because the law is the law. We not send your papa, we not send your mama. In the judgment document obtained by Saturday Punch, the court rejected Adegboyega's appeals, citing his unlawful stay in the UK and exaggeration of his community work claims. Now, the tribunal ruled that Adegboyega had grossly inflated his contributions, describing his claims as hyperbolic and unsupported by substantive evidence. They said that all these claims that he's making is overrated. In fact, he's hyping himself. He's glorifying himself when there is no evidence to prove all these things that he's saying. The court noted that the pastor failed to provide corroborative evidence that the UK police endorsed and supported his works. So the UK court is demanding for, where Boris Johnson endorsed him, or the UK Metropolitan Police had also endorsed him, that they should bring those proofs to also support his claims. According to the report, the court insisted that his work could continue without his presence in the UK and dismissed his marriage to a British citizen as insufficient to counterbalance his immigration violations. We do, however, note the absence of corroborative evidence in respect of the most prominent agencies that the appellant Adegboyega claims as his supporters. There was nothing before us from the Metropolitan Police, Downing Street, that is Boris Johnson, the Mayor of London, or the Home Office, all institutions which the appellant claims to have enthusiastically endorsed his work, the court affirmed. So all these people he claimed that endorsed him, he said that none have appeared in evidence to defend him. Okay? Now, for instance, there was nothing at all to support his assertions that his presence in London is needed to calm the nerves of people from ethnic minorities following the fascist uprisings of August 2024, or that his presence is an obsolete necessity to fighting crime. There was no corroboration for his claim to have visited Downing Street on countless occasions. These are examples of areas of the appellant's evidence where we are satisfied that he has sought to grossly inflate his influence. So they said that he should at least bring a picture which he took at the Downing Street when he visited Boris Johnson, or where he was acknowledged by the Metropolitan Police. But all these are mouth say, so nothing to prove them. When we asked him to describe an average day, the appellant told us that he schedules 6 church events per day, 7 days a week. These can be all over London. He visits as many as 20 congregants per week in their own homes and is often called upon to spend between 3 to 4 hours talking on a one-to-one basis to a troubled young person. He also told us about the time that he spent supervising and helping some of the many business ventures or CICs set up with Spark Nation's help, and to organizing the food bank, even allowing for his admission that sometimes this Spark itinerary causes him to run late. We find it to be implausible that he has the time to undertake all of this work personally. We counter it far more likely that this work is distributed among many pastors, congregants, and supporters of Spark Nation. So the man said that he's the one doing all these jobs. He's running around helter-skelter. He doesn't even have time to eat. He doesn't even have time for himself. But so how does he flaunt all these things on social media that we see often? You see? So the UK court now is saying that that the country will survive without him. That whether he preaches from now till forever, it doesn't change a thing. In fact, most of his claims are unprovable. He can't prove them. I depend solely on my wife. Earlier, Adegboyega told the court that he had always depended on his wife, Mary. He states that he lives with his partner, Mary Olubukola Alade, who earns £100,000 per year working for AON. He spends his time working for the church, for which he is unpaid. He is entirely supported by Mary, who is the wife. So this is what Adegboyega is saying. Now, he has a first-class law degree from Nigeria, but he has sacrificed his legal career to help those who cannot help themselves, the court heard. This is the story and why the court has approved his deportation as it is right now. Guys, let me know your own thoughts on this. So I have a couple of videos about him where a lot of things were said. So I want you guys to listen to some of them, okay? Please share this video. God bless you. And the video also is a very good friend of this man. That the Freeze as well is also a very good friend of this man. You can see him. You know, most people who need help are people who are poor, kind of. But you can't see him with poor people. He's always with the rich people. So, Pastor Adegboyega, well done.
On SPAC's questionable income, confirming the suspicions that many had from the first time they saw Pastor Tobi step out of a Lamborghini. Everything from loan scams to bank fraud after stealing the identities of their members.
In March, she discovered that a 4-year loan with the company Amigo had been taken out in her name. She confronted another senior pastor about it.
I basically asked, what's happening? Why do I have a loan in my name? And they basically said the loan was for the greater good and they were going to use the money to buy a bigger trap house.
We've also seen a WhatsApp leaders chat from inside the church in which Tobi Adegboyega himself says you guys have been good in raising loans.
If it wasn't fraud and scams, the church was putting immense pressure on its members for donations or seed, with Pastor Tobi even going as far as claiming they aim to get £1 million monthly. It's just insane. Bear in mind that this is footage and clips from people who claim to represent a charity organisation.
What amount does this work need monthly? And I put it that we need £1 million monthly. 1 million. Basic person in a month should give £1,000. I think that's normal. I think it's no big deal. It's not even that deep. Total this year, including crossover, is 761,440.
More than £750,000. But that's not enough for Tobi Adegboyega.
But I tell you, June ending, we've got to reach £1 million.
Panorama has now spoken to many young people who say they felt under intense pressure to give.
I know people personally that have given £1,000 a week. You don't ever question how you get the money, you just get the money and give.
When you are the biggest giver, it's noted, like, you will be endorsed, you will be called on stage, you will be shown love, and you'll be treated differently.
Just under £59,000 funded 5 full-time staff. But the accounts don't explain how the lavish lifestyle of Tobi Adegboyega is being paid for.
The documentary also lifted the lid of the culture at these trap houses and how the so-called generals control them and members that live in them.
SPAC Nation is in front of you 24/7, in your ears 24/7, so you don't know anything else. What you're seeing is PT's vision. That's what he wants you to see.
One of these generals in charge of a trap house, Mariam Mabula, would have her own BBC documentary a year later in 2020, detailing the frauds that she'd already been involved in prior to SPAC, as well as her activities in SPAC, primarily being in charge of a female trap house and forcing the members to hand over control of their finances to her.
Living with Mariam is like your best dream and your worst nightmare. You don't even realize, like, all the crazy things you do for her. If skills of manipulation aren't the biggest sign of a cult leader, then I do not know what is.
The release of this Panorama episode was a watershed moment. These accusations that were previously just put down to dismissible internet rumours had real weight, backed by those who actually had been a part of SPAC and came out the other side without being brainwashed. However, in February 2020, Scotland Yard announced that it would not be launching a criminal investigation into SPAC Nation following a review of the allegations. In response, SPAC stated, "We believe the police have come to a fair conclusion following their inquiry." Some former members of SPAC criticised the decision, stating that the police had not spoken to all alleged witnesses. But in the end, it seemed that SPAC had somehow, some way, dodged a huge bullet. Despite what the police had to say, though, their reputation at large was still in tatters in the eyes of the public. SPAC and Tobi Adegboyega's craving for the spotlight had seemed to dim somewhat in the wake of these allegations.
So that's one of the videos I obtained on TikTok about this man. Now there's another one too before we leave finally. So guys, share this video for me. You know, you can see the man of God, the kind of people he flows with. So he doesn't flow or mingle with, you know, poor people or the average man in the society. He mingles with the rich. If you are not rich, no friendship there, okay?
I am convinced that SPAC Nation is a cult. They advertise events targeted mainly at young black people in poorer parts of London. They offer free food or free bowling sessions to attract young people to come along. The young leaders vet the young people who turn up, and they then target those who appear to be the most susceptible. They befriend these particular young people, and they invite them to further functions and events, including dinners. One of the organisation's leaders will start phoning them, sometimes several times a day. They're then given lifts by that individual to meeting. Then what appears to be brainwashing starts. They're told that if their life is unsuccessful, if their family is poor, that's because they're not giving enough money to God. Some young people are encouraged to break their links with their families and move into properties rented by the organisation's leaders. They call them trap houses, the term used for drug dens in the United States. A woman leader of this organisation running one of these trap houses where vulnerable young girls were placed has 27 convictions for serious fraud. No vulnerable child should be allowed anywhere near her.
All right. Okay. So this is one of the revelations and what would I call it? Is it documentary made? I think I got this video on TikTok. They posted it on TikTok. So that's what's going on with Tobi Adegboyega as it is right now. So I don't know where he will end up, whether he will end up being deported or he will overcome them in the UK. So whichever, we keep our fingers crossed and also keep you updated with what's gonna come next. So please guys, we'll follow this story to the end. All you have to do for me is just to help me share this video so that others can get to know what's going on. I'll see you guys on the next video. And you know that African pastors are good in doing this brainwashing. That's how they get rich. That's why in Africa, in Nigeria to be precise, our pastors are the richest. They are even richer than politicians, because when you mention God in Nigeria, people can give all they have. But are you giving it to God? No, you are giving it to that human being there. God does not have a center where he goes to and takes this money back to heaven. But our people wants to go to heaven by buying land there, here on earth. Man, don't be scammed. Hold your brain, use your brain, okay? So I'll see you guys. Now, before I go, finally, please, if you want to send money to Nigeria, you can use this very app called Tap Tap Send. It's a very reliable app that you can use to do that very transfer to Nigeria, and also enjoy massive bonus with my promo code right there. If you do that, you're going to get at least £15 on top of the money that you're sending to Nigeria. 15 euros for those in Europe sending money to Nigerian banks and their families. $30 to people in Canada and USA. 75 AED to people in Dubai on your first transaction. Okay, all you have to do is just to download it from App Store, whether you use an iPhone or an Android. It's not a problem. It's in both stores. Okay, so enjoy the season. I'll see you guys next video. Please share.